Holy shit. All right, it's happening. NFL free agency. What a day. Okay, people told me, you know what, JV? Why don't you try soccer? Or why don't you try the MLB or the NBA? I'm not fucking leaving. What a day. Day one, free agency. I feel like it's Wild Card Sunday. I'm relapsing. I just got over Sundays without NFL football, and I feel like I'm back, okay? Change my mind. You can't. NFL free agency clears any NBA regular season game. It clears all the soccer BS besides the World Cup because it's kind of cool. I can't lie. I enjoy watching it. And it also clears every single pitch of an MLB season besides maybe the bottom of the ninth of a World Series. That's it. This is it. You can lie to yourself, whatever. It's the best league in the world. They do numbers. They bring in the cash. And this is it, man. It keeps you entertained even in the offseason. This is our offseason. What a day. I'll be honest with you. I knew free agency, the window was opening. I knew the tampering window was opening, okay? Don't get on my ass. But I kind of forgot this morning. So I wake up, complete gong show, phone blowing up, guys shattering the market for their positions. Insane day. So here's what I'm going to do. Let's break it down. We're going to go like 2 to 3 episodes over the next few days. Today I'm going solo. Tomorrow I got a guest joining. I'll keep it on wraps for right now. It's going to be a great episode. And then probably another one on day 3, maybe a day 4 episode, because there are so many free agents still on the market. And this is only day 1. So I'm going through like 8 to 10 of the biggest moves from day 1 of free agency, and I'm filming it like late afternoon, early evening right now, so I might be missing out on a few blockbuster moves. I apologize. Anything I've missed, drop it in the comments. I will cover it over the next few days, but for now, these are like 8 to 10 of the biggest moves, some of my favorites, some of my least favorites from the day. I'll get into it right away. You know what it is, JV show, like y'all always do. Please go ahead, like, comment, subscribe. It means the world. The support is awesome. And again, if I miss anything, please drop it in the comments. Let me know your thoughts on the moves, and I will absolutely get to them as the week rolls on. Let's kick things off. Big day, big news, breaking news out of San Francisco. Mike Evans passes the season-ending injury requirement to be a San Francisco 49er. Talk about an on-brand move. 33 years old, 3 years, $60 million. Now, I haven't heard any word on the guaranteed money. I looked for it, couldn't find it. Maybe I just missed it. So we'll leave that out for right now. He turns 33 in August. So at the end of the contract, he's 36 years old. He's going to roll into the facility tomorrow morning on a golf cart, injured, with the cast on. I mean, there is no move that resembles this organization more than bringing on an aging, injured receiver to the franchise to play for a team that rolled into the playoffs with practice squad players and still won a game. Like, all jokes aside, the San Francisco 49ers are probably a top 5 team in football when healthy, but that when healthy condition is huge. I mean, it just never happens. They are a top 5 most injured team in the league every single season. So bringing in Mike Evans, Mike Evans for me is a guy that I've watched for a very long time, and I love his film. I love the way he plays. I love what he's done in Tampa Bay. When you think of the Buccaneers as a franchise, he is the face. He is the all-time Buck. You can say Brady, you can throw names out there, but Mike Evans, a guy that's going straight to the Hall of Fame with 10-plus consecutive seasons of 1,000 yards receiving, he's had himself a phenomenal career. And headed to San Francisco, if he can stay healthy, absolutely helps out this team. You know, again, all jokes aside with the injuries, if he can play a full season or even, hell, like 13 to 15 games and be available in the playoffs, I really like the move for the San Francisco 49ers. Again, a consistently productive receiver that stretches the field. You can now throw the ball vertically down the field. He's that big body weapon that automatically makes you a favorite to win on any given red zone trip. And that's just it. As long as he's healthy and he's out there, he's a guy you can target in the red zone, and he makes you a favorite really anywhere on the field. And I do think he also complements who you got in the slot real nicely. Ricky Pearsall, I know you can rotate him around really anywhere. He's got great footwork. He's a really great route runner, great body control. I think he can succeed in the intermediate part of the field. He can also go deep, but I like Mike Evans as a true outside receiver to pair with a guy like Ricky Pearsall, who's a great route runner, and you got George Kittle, who, when healthy, is a top 3 tight end in the league. The thing with the Niners, and it has been for years, is the health concern. Can they stay healthy offensively and defensively? Last year, offensively, right from Brock Purdy down to Ricky Pearsall to George Kittle to Trent Williams, everybody on IR at some point during the year. You look at the defense, Nick Bosa injured, Fred Warner injured, all of these guys on IR. But when they're healthy, they have the talent, they have the coaching staff to go all the way. And we saw that with them winning a playoff game and bringing on a guy like Mike Evans, considering the fact that you paid Brandon Ayuk $30 million per year. Talk about a mistake after just 1 year of great production, and he never ended up playing for you. This is a move that hopefully rights that wrong. I like the fit. It makes a whole lot of sense. You just got to consider the health aspect of things. But if everyone's healthy, I mean, this is a match made in heaven. You got Brock Purdy there, who I think is a great quarterback. You got CMC. That's who the offense really runs through. And getting a guy like Mike Evans, especially in the playoffs, to convert in the red zone is going to be huge. So I really like the move. Injuries aside, obviously. Let's go to the Indianapolis Colts. We're sticking with the receivers. They re-sign Alec Pierce. 4 years, $116 million. Holy overpay. Oh my God. I like Alec Pierce. I don't know if I like $30 million annually, Alec Pierce. It kind of seems a little bit extreme to me, to be honest with you. Christian Kirk reset this receiver market when he signed with the Jags a few years ago, and for no reason at all. He didn't deserve the contract, didn't deserve that much money, but for some reason he got paid some absurd amount of money annually, which was like $27 million, and ever since then, it's just been off the charts for receivers. Alec Pierce is now the 9th highest paid receiver in the NFL annually. $29 million per year. Notable names in that vicinity. Amon-Ra St. Brown, $30 million per year. A.J. Brown, $32 million per year. Alec Pierce has $84 million guaranteed for a receiver that just hit 1,000 yards. He just eclipsed 1,000 yards for the first time in his career. Listen, don't get me wrong. Phenomenal deep ball receiver. Phenomenal deep threat. I love Alec Pierce down the field. He had one of the highest, if not the highest, yards per reception, I believe the stat was, down the field. He is the true deep ball receiver in the league right now. I mean, he can win downfield, one-on-one. He's great for that. But listen, to be a $30 million receiver in the league, you have to have that bag. You gotta. He's an elite deep threat, but not someone I can necessarily see winning at all 3 levels of the field, the short, the intermediate, and the deep. For the receiver position, he's not a guy that I envision catching a slant and going to the house. He's not a guy that I see the yak potential with. He's not a guy that I necessarily see working in that intermediate part of the field. That's not me saying he can't run a dig route. He can't run an out. He can't run, I don't know, a post dig, whatever route, a curl, hatchet, whatever the route is, a slant, quick hitch, whatever. He can do it. But when I stack him up against the elite of the elite, or the guys that he's now in the category of, I just feel like it's a little bit of an overpay. I feel like the Colts kind of got panicked here. They heard him go on the podcast. They're like, oh, like this guy's actually going to test the market. Alec Pierce went out, by the way, on the podcast he was on prior to the free agency window opening, and he said, I've earned the right to go and test free agency with the numbers I put up. He had like 47 receptions last year, 1,000 yards, phenomenal year, don't get me wrong. I was under the assumption he was done with the Colts, and it felt kind of like a peer-pressured, panic move where they're like, oh, we got to get this guy back. He's a priority. I like Alec Pierce. $30 million seems like a little bit much annually. But considering you transition tag Daniel Jones, you obviously have the cap room to go out, get Alec Pierce. The Colts were a very good team last season, right up until the Daniel Jones injury, pretty much. They kind of started falling off a little bit prior to that, but then it all just fell apart pretty much. And they traded for Sauce, and that was also a disaster. And it just didn't end up working. And I applaud them for going all out and saying, hey, we probably got the team midseason to go all the way. I still think that they have the opportunity to go out and make a playoff spot next year. And I like Alec Pierce. Like, shout out, white boy receiver. That's my guy. Absolutely. It's just 4 years, $116 million as a contract to me just sounds pretty crazy. I just don't think he has the name value yet. I don't think he's put up the numbers to match that. That's not me saying he can't get there, but I will say anything less now than like 1,200, 1,300 yards receiving plus like 10 TDs is a disappointment for me. For being a deep threat, a guy that you can count on. I mean, he's being paid to be a true number one now, and we haven't necessarily seen that. So they're kind of betting on the unknown, but at least you keep him in the organization. I like that the Colts are rolling with their guys. It just seems like, maybe it should have been like 22, 23 million per year, not 30 or 29 million per year. Let's jump over to the Kansas City Chiefs now. They sign running back Kenneth Walker, 3 years, $45 million, $28.7 million guaranteed money. Boom! Kenneth Walker is a money move for the Chiefs. I love it. I think it's a phenomenal move. Veach does his thing in the front office. The last time the Chiefs had a legit running back was pre-Cleveland Browns Kareem Hunt, when he was on an absolute tear, and then he booted someone, and it all went south. It could have been really great for them. Now, he came back. Obviously, they drafted Clyde Edwards-Helaire. They had Kareem Hunt back. They had Isaiah Pacheco. It was an okay backfield. It was serviceable, I guess, but nothing that jumps out at you. This is the best move considering the needs in Kansas City. Rather than overpaying for a premium position in the trenches, they go out and pay $15 million annually for a running back, the reigning Super Bowl MVP, instead of drafting Jeremiah Love, whose stock is rising. You're not guaranteed him at the 9 spot in the draft. You fill your running back need with Kenneth Walker, who's extremely explosive, can be a 3-down back for you, and you can now use that top 10 pick on a more premium position to address probably the trenches, I would assume. Interior defensive line, or you're looking at offensive line. That's probably where I'm going. That's where I'm seeing guys mocked in the draft to the Kansas City Chiefs. The thing about the Chiefs, people wanted to see them lose, and they did for a year. The dynasty isn't over. It's not over. As long as Mahomes is there and Andy Reid as well, but really Mahomes, it's not done. Okay, yeah, it was an off year, absolutely, but they still just didn't have the weapons. They didn't have the backfield. The defense was still pretty incredible, but it just felt off. And then Mahomes, obviously the season-ending injury in like week 16, week 15, whenever it was, it just wasn't meant to be. But that doesn't mean they can't quickly climb back. This is a front office, an organization that knows how to develop talent. They know what they're doing. I wouldn't just automatically count them out because they went 6-11 this year. I just think it's ridiculous. And this is a move that tells me, hey, we are thinking in the future here. We are proactively preparing for another run in a few years. I don't know if this is going to be the year. I don't know when Mahomes comes back, how healthy he looks. They're bringing Travis Kelce back. I truly think he's at, the end of his career. I don't think he's as valuable as he once was. You still need receiver help. You still need weapons. But you're not that far off compared to some of the other teams, which people have kind of grouped them with. I just don't get it. I think the Chiefs making this move for Kenneth Walker is a great deal. I think he's probably a top 10 paid running back in the league right now. He might even be top 5, which, yeah, it's like a little bit more money than you would have wanted to spend. But at the same time, now you can draft somebody at a position that you would have otherwise paid a lot more money for in free agency. And you can actually save money when you look at the whole picture. Right, so I love the move. I think it was solid for the Chiefs to go after Kenneth Walker, a guy that's been on an absolute heater ever since the Super Bowl happened. His name's just been jumping around NFL circles. Seahawks obviously really liked him. Schneider obviously wanted him back, but the Chiefs steal him. I think it's great for that backfield. Let's go Panthers now. They signed edge rusher Jaelen Phillips, 4 years, $120 million. Kind of crazy. $80 million guaranteed money for Jaelen Phillips. He better call Howie Roseman right now and bow down to the man. Howie Roseman single-handedly gave Jaelen Phillips the money for the rest of his life. $120 million, $80 million guaranteed. That is a lot of money for an edge rusher that does not have the stats and the numbers to back it up. But with that being said, the fit makes a lot of sense, and considering it's Carolina, small market, team that doesn't attract a lot of stars, this is huge. Bryce Young, this is what people have to understand. It's not like they're preparing to pay Bryce Young $45 to $50 million next year. They're just not. He's not worth that right now. I like Bryce Young. I don't like a $45 million Bryce Young. The Bryce Young contract will not shatter the earth next season. And your offensive core, Tet McMillan, Jalen Coker, is young and they're on rookie deals. So they can afford a move like this even if it's an overpay. And Philly, even with the extended cap room, just wasn't going to afford $80 million of guaranteed money, 4 years, $120 million to Jaelen Phillips. Like, it just wasn't going to happen. But just know, just make note of this. This makes Jaelen Phillips the 8th highest paid edge rusher in the NFL right now. That is more than Brian Burns. That is more than Nick Bonito. And I know they are kind of like a flex linebacker position. I get it. But still, you're paying a guy to put pressure on the QB. And I don't think Jaelen Phillips, I don't believe Jaelen Phillips has had a season above 10 sacks. So for this deal to be truly worth it, for him to live up to the $120 million over 4 years, he's going to have 12, 13 sack seasons. He's going to have to be a difference maker for this defense. This Carolina Panthers defense this past season, surprisingly very solid. Okay, Mike Jackson had himself just a stellar game against the Rams in the wild card round. Obviously, J.C. Horn back there, a phenomenal talent in the secondary. Pairing him and Derek Brown, two guys up front to put pressure on the QB, I love the move. It makes a lot of sense to fit. Was it an overpay? Yes. But I think the Panthers can afford it, and to bring in some name value, some star potential like Jaelen Phillips, who has now revived his career after his short stint in Philly, this is great. I like the move for Carolina. Contract isn't favorable, but they can afford it with the way the offense is working out with the contract with Bryce Young and the young core that they got. Let's go Raiders now. The Raiders had a field day paying guys in free agency. We knew this was going to happen. They had the cap room. We knew they were going to be big spenders, but like this, nobody predicted this. Seriously. Two guys I want to know, and I don't think they're done yet. As of right now, they got the number 1 pick. So I'm under the assumption that they go out and get Mendoza with the number 1 to be their future QB. Obviously, they bring in Kubiak, which I thought was a great move. I thought he was a top 3 head coach candidate in this coaching cycle with the resume he's built up, coaching under some elite play callers. I think he's ready to be the next innovator on the offensive side of the ball. Their first move with the Raiders, signing center Tyler Linderbaum, 3 years, $81 million, $60 million guaranteed, house money. House money. This is an absurd contract, $27 million per year for a center. A center. To put that into perspective, for people that maybe were unaware of the center market, we're just looking strictly at positional value right now. Creed Humphrey was previously the highest paid center in the league at $18 million per year. Tyler Linderbaum just got $27 million per year. Now, from what I've heard, he is an absolute stud. The PFF grades match the raving reviews from the fan base in Baltimore, and the center position has quietly become a position with scarcity at the elite level. Like, they just don't have elite centers in the NFL anymore. Like, I guess they've just kind of disappeared, or the value at the position, when you get an elite guy, you hold on to him. Now, the Ravens, they just weren't paying this contract. To have a $27 million per year contract for Tyler Linderbaum, you just can't do it. But the Raiders, a team that, again, you're anticipating you draft Mendoza at the number 1. You're building up the interior offensive line. You're building around him with weapons. You added Jalen Naylor today. You have Ashton Genty. You have Brock Bowers. You have Trey Tucker. They have players. They're young. The core is young, but guess what? That's why you can spend this kind of money. Plus, you have 2 first-round picks in 2026 and 11 total picks this year. They're set. I love what they've done. Then you flip to the defensive side of the ball. The Raiders sign linebacker Nakobe Dean, 3 years, $36 million, $20 million guaranteed. Move of the day. My favorite move of the day, flat out. I think Nakobe Dean is the steal of free agency. As long as he's healthy, he was one of the best players available. Seriously, steal of the century. The health concerns are the only thing that stand in the way of Nakobe Dean being a widely accepted elite linebacker in this league. And $12 million per year, although it places him right inside the top 10 paid linebackers in the league, is still a great value for a true green dot leader that steps up to put pressure on the quarterback and shuts down run games. For a defense that needed everything. I mean, they need star players. They need talent. They need good football players. This is a phenomenal move. I love what they did here. He was a player, listen, Nakobe Dean was a guy that was loved in Philly, and he played a huge role on their Super Bowl run just a few years ago, surpassing 120 total tackles on the year. He had himself a great season with the Eagles. Now, last year, obviously, battling through injury, but if he can stay healthy on this kind of deal, I thought the Raiders got great value for him to add to the defense, and maybe they were, big spenders on Tyler Linderbaum. But at the end of the day, you got to pay the price to protect your QB. If you got a young rookie QB coming into the league, new weapons, new system, new league, new competition, well, you want to protect him. You want to make sure the interior is set up. And I think Linderbaum, as an elite center in this league, top 2, if not top 1, he's the guy. I'm happy they go out, they make the move. They're playing with house money, obviously. I thought the Raiders were big winners today. More on that in a future episode. I'll break down the whole Raiders thing in the future, but these 2 moves specifically really, really stood out to me. Now let's go Dolphins. Yeah, the Dolphins sign quarterback Malik Willis. 3 years, $67.5 million, $45 million guaranteed. This was expected. I said it'd either be the Dolphins or the Cardinals. I mean, it's all right. I think the Dolphins are a lost cause right now. Signing Malik Willis, I think they assume it'll be life-changing or franchise-altering. I don't see it that way, personally. Malik Willis was cool and electric as a backup quarterback who balled out when he had the opportunity in Green Bay. But this isn't the dream situation he's walking into. Understand that. Here's the misconception with Malik Willis. People look at Darnold, Baker, even Daniel Jones, and assume that Malik Willis can revive his career just like those guys did. First of all, they were all first-round picks. Malik Willis was a third-round pick. And I'm not saying he can't do it, but there's clearly a separation of talent between those 3 QBs and Malik Willis. Second of all, they all went to at least semi-competent teams with good pieces and a good team around them and a good supporting cast. I mean, Darnold had Jettis, Addison, great defense, Baker, Evans, and Godwin. The Bucs obviously coming off that run with Brady. They were still a solid team. Even Daniel Jones last year, Jonathan Taylor, Alec Pierce, offensive line. Defense was playing solid. The Dolphins are a complete and utter disaster, and they're eating a shit ton of dead cap from releasing Tua way earlier than expected, and they have a first-time head coach. So while I like Malik Willis, and what I like is that he can bring to the table the dual threat of the legs and the arm, and he's extremely versatile, and we saw him in that offense in Green Bay taking 20, 30-yard rushes to the house and knifing the secondary down the field for 30, 40, 50-yard completions down the sideline, fade ball, on the money. It was awesome. It was electric, seriously. It was an amazing display of talent, but at the end of the day, he is not going to save your franchise, Miami. He's not. You have so much more work to do. So don't expect this to be anything more than a cool name brand deal that you get hyped up about in the offseason, but it really just doesn't pan out because you need a lot more. The Dolphins are still a bottom 10 team in football. And Jeff Hafley, as the new head coach there, as a defensive mind, it also concerns me. Like, it's just a complete shit show. And yeah, it was a necessary move for them. I just don't think too much about it. It was also a lot less than I had heard. I heard like $35 million per year at the ceiling. I thought that was insane. But this, not too bad, to be honest with you. Again, a very small sample size of play we've seen from him. But again, it's the Dolphins. You know, you don't expect much else. Let's go New York Giants. They signed tight end Isaiah Likely, 3 years, $40 million. This is the John Harbaugh effect. This was an absolute steal, considering the market as a whole. The market has just blown up, and we saw that reflected with the NFL increasing the cap, the available cap for each team. Players just make more money now. Not just speaking about tight ends, but as a whole, players just make more cash. And to get Isaiah Likely at $15 million per year is sick. It's great value at the tight end position. Isaiah Likely is one of the best receiving tight ends in the league, and he's an immediate replacement for Wan'Dale Robinson. In the slot, he can line up and outright win true one-on-one battles with pretty much anyone he lines up against. He's got great hands, he's a great playmaker, and in clutch situations, he will go up and make the play. And we saw that exemplified in that game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, Week 18, when he was there and he made the clutch play. Now, it's kind of overshadowed by the missed kick, but he was a baller, and he's done that time and time again. And for him to follow Harbaugh is huge for the New York Giants. Now, I'm looking forward to watching 2 tight end sets with him and Theo Johnson. People kind of talk shit about Theo Johnson. I believe that he has climbed his way up the rankings in New York. Every season, a little bit better. The route running, a little bit better. The hands, kind of been a concern. But to pair him and Likely, plus you got Malik Neighbors, your true win, one-on-one, X-receiver outside, you're set. You're set. If you're Jackson Dart, you're licking your damn chops. You're loving it. You're like, okay, I got Stadaboo, I got Neighbors, I got Likely, I got Theo Johnson. We are building. So I love the moves. I love what New York has done so far. I still believe that they will build. I don't think they actually have too much cap space available, but I trust that Harbaugh makes the right decision early on in the draft with the 5 pick, Caleb Downs. That's all I'm going to say. I like the move with Likely, steal of a contract, sets him up for 3 years in New York with Jackson Dart as the number 2 option. I love it. Now, to round things out here, 2 players that I personally wanted to talk about. As a Bills fan, yes, I'm wearing a Jets jacket today. Let me just clarify. I just got a ton of these. You know, I like supporting each and every team here on the podcast. And by the way, speaking of the Jets real quick, I thought they did pretty good today, to be honest with you. I thought they had a successful day, all things considered. It is the New York Jets. But the moves they made, although maybe minor, they were good. But anyways, as a Bills fan, we've made two significant moves besides the DJ Moore trade. Number one was re-signing our center, Connor McGovern, for 4 years, $52 million, $32 million guaranteed, which was an absolute steal of a deal. Now, I just talked about the center market with Tyler Linderbaum, with Creed Humphrey. I am beyond happy that we got this deal done earlier than later, because if we watched Tyler Linderbaum get $27 million per year from the Raiders, and we looked at Connor McGovern and we were like, we got to pay you, buddy. I don't know. I don't know how it would have turned out. Now, that's not me saying that Connor McGovern is on the level of Linderbaum or even Creed Humphrey, but he is a top 10 center in football, top 8 center in football. Like, he's solid. And he's a huge piece of our offensive line, and it was important that we kept him around. Now, we obviously lose David Edwards to the Saints, and I'll talk about that in a later episode. And the Saints as a whole, I'm excited for them moving forward. But I thought this was a huge move, and we got a great deal for a player that is near the top of his position group when you look at it from the whole league, the aspect of the whole league. We also signed a DBD Alford, 3 years, $21 million, $10 million guaranteed from the Falcons. Special place in my heart, close to home. He played for my Winnipeg Blue Bombers. He had some trouble early on with the Falcons in the league, got burnt a few times. I've seen some clips. Haha, it's hilarious. But he has improved, and he made some pretty phenomenal plays. I was watching a later game in the season between the Bucs and the Falcons, and he made a pick on Baker Mayfield that was pretty phenomenal. I mean, the play he made, kind of dropping back into his zone, athletic, goes up, gets the ball, full extension, celebrating. I loved it. I loved seeing it. And for him to come to Buffalo, a secondary that can always use more help, I loved the move. So I'm looking forward to seeing both of these guys, Connor McGovern back in the blue with the Bills, and obviously D. Alford coming home to my Bills, Winnipeg Blue Bombers legend. I'm pumped to see them. But that's a wrap. That was, 11, 12 guys that I wanted to point out from day one of free agency. Few quick notes, and I'll give some honorable mentions here, which I'll probably touch on tomorrow, plus more free agents as the signings come in and as the deals come in. Bengals had a great day defensively. The Bears made great moves on the defensive side of the ball as well. The Seahawks, listen, it's hard to be great in this league. It seriously is. When free agency rolls around, you see why it's so difficult to be a dynasty in the league, because your guys just leave. Your guys, they get paid. Maffei's gone. Kenneth Walker's gone. They get Shaheed back, though. That's huge. Want to shout out the Seahawks for that. And the Titans, big spenders in free agency. Obviously, they had the most cap space heading into this free agency window. Monster day. I'll talk about all that tomorrow. Plus, shout out my guy Tua. Atlanta Falcons. I just don't get it. I don't get it. But anyways, I'll leave that for tomorrow. That was a quick 30 minutes on day one of free agency. Thank y'all for rocking with me. It was great. Again, JV Show. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll catch y'all soon for some more free agency updates. Stay safe, y'all. Peace out.